Would you like to know how to hire the right fractional CMO? Well, in this video, we're going to show you exactly what you need to do because quite frankly, if you hire the wrong fractional CMO, it's going to cost you about 12 months worth of growth time and a lot of money. The reality is I've seen businesses interview 5, 6 different fractional CMOs and they still hire the wrong one because they're asking the wrong questions. Most business owners think they're hiring another marketing person, but they're not. They're actually hiring somebody that's going to give them direction and the fastest path to results. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how to evaluate a fractional CMO, what questions you should be asking, and maybe most importantly, what are the red flags that you need to avoid. So the first thing you have to do is you gotta start with the right question. Now, every time I tell people that, they say, well, I don't know what the right question is. What's the right question? Well, it's gonna be a little bit different depending on your business. I'm just gonna take my business as example, because then you can see how my mind would run through it. I have an agency. Part of that agency is we do consulting. We do fractional CMO consulting. I know the exact revenue size of my business, and I have to ask myself, what is my biggest challenge right now? And I can tell you, real honestly, my biggest challenge right now is actually efficiency. We have lots of people doing great work, but with the advent of AI and new tools and all the things I'm seeing coming out, I want to start to implement more of that AI into my business, not necessarily to eliminate people, although that will probably happen in some cases, but it's actually to be able to 4, 5, 6x my results with those same people. So for me, the most important question that I would have to ask somebody that I would bring in is, what is your level of experience in implementing these specific AI tools in my specific industry? That's the right question for me. And how you can relay that into what is the right question for you is I always start with the simplest of things. Number one, have you worked in my industry before? If they say no, it doesn't mean it's a dead stop. It just means that there could potentially be someone else who's better suited for you, okay? So question number one is, have you worked in my industry before? If they can say yes, the second question would be, have you worked with a company at my revenue level? Yes or no is less of a deal killer there if they have worked in your industry, but it sure would be nice if they could show you some case studies or proof based on taking a business like yours from this level to that level. And then the third most important question, I think, is after you've given them some information to look through, what is the single most important thing that would move the needle right away? And listen to their answer, because you're gonna know right away if they've actually thought it through and they've done some research and they actually have been in your industry before based on the answer they give you. If it's vague, if it's too large, if it's completely irrelevant to what you were thinking, then it's probably a red flag that this is not the right fit for you. The second thing that I always wanna look for is somebody who thinks like an owner. Now, the difference is that some people think like a vendor and very few people think like an owner. In my experience, I built and exited 5 different businesses before we started our agency and before I started doing fractional CMO consulting. So every day with my team, when we do our stand-ups, and we're analyzing client by client by client, I ask them one very important question. If it was your money on the line today, what's the decision that you would make? And that is a very different question than what do we think we should prioritize today? Because as somebody who's built and sold 5 different businesses and failed at others, I understand how catastrophic it is when a business actually fails. When businesses fail, people go bankrupt, people move in with their parents, people have a hard time even getting a job because they're not even hireable. So it's really, really important that every dollar and every decision is measured against speed in the bank account. And the only way that you're gonna get the right strategy for that is if you find somebody who thinks like an owner. If you find somebody like that, it's a lottery ticket. Another thing I like to ask them is, how do you make decisions? Now, you might find that to be an interesting question. You might even say, well, what does that even mean? Well, there's a process that people go through before they make any decisions to take any actions. We all do it. We all just do it in a different way. And to give you an example, before I make a decision, I always look at the math first. I have goal KPIs for every single thing that should happen in almost any single business model. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my goal KPIs, I'm gonna look at the company's current KPIs, and I'm gonna see what's strong, what's weak, and there might be 5 or 6 different things that are weak, but I'm gonna ask myself, well, of these 6, which one do I need to prioritize first, because which one is gonna have the biggest and fastest impact on the bottom line? So how do I make decisions? I make decisions based on math and priorities. If somebody else makes decision based on creatively, how does it make them feel? That might be in alignment with what you want, but that's not a fractional CMO, that's a creative director. A fractional CMO should be half creative brain and half math brain, but they should lead into the math brain to define the priority and then switch over to the creative brain on what needs to actually be put in there to fix the math. One of the things you do have to look out for though is the guaranteed quick fix. There's a difference between prioritization and saying this is gonna help us move the fastest and guaranteeing a quick fix. If anybody ever guarantees you something, it is a major red flag because there's always different businesses, there's always different things going on in different businesses, there's always different market conditions, so they can be confident. But if they're just loosey-goosey saying, oh yeah, we do these couple quick things and boom, it's just gonna be flowers and rainbows and money falling from the sky, that's not somebody you likely wanna be working with. If you're trying to figure out if hiring a fractional CMO is right for your business, then I highly recommend you watch my next video. You'll actually see a link underneath. It's called the 5 things that every business should know before hiring a fractional CMO. So go ahead and click it and we'll see you on the inside.